Hello grade 12s, today we're going on to arithmetic sequences. Okay, so example 1 is saying determine the first three terms of an arithmetic sequence of which the first term is 9 and the seventh term is 27. Okay, so you guys learned this formula the other day and we're going to be using this. So we know that Tn is equal to A plus n minus 1 times D. Okay, and they've told us here that the first term is 9, so we know that T1 is equal to 9, and they told us that the seventh is 27. T7 is equal to 27. Okay, so from what I told you the other day, T1 is A, so we know that A is equal to 9. And then over here, what I'm going to do is we've made our n 7. So I'm going to make this n 7 over here. So what we get is we get A plus 7 minus 1 times D equals 27. So I've just plugged it into this formula over here. I'm just going to simplify this and we get A plus 6D equals 27. Okay, we can call this equation 1, we can call this equation 2, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to sub 1 into 2. Okay, we have A is 9, so if I put A in there, I'm going to get 9 plus 6D is equal to 27. We take the 9 to the other side, and we get 27 minus 9, and we get 18. So we get 6D is equal to 18. Divide through by 6, and we get D is equal to 3. Okay. So now we know what A is, and we know what D is. And they're asking us to find the first three terms. So our first term is going to be 9. How do we get to the next term? Well, it's our common difference, which we've just worked out. So we add 3 to that, and we get 12. How do we get to the next one? Add 3 and we get 15. So there's the first three terms of that arithmetic sequence. Okay, we go to the next example. Next example is saying determine the first 4 terms of the sequence and the 10th term of an arithmetic sequence in which the second term is 9 and the 8th term is 33. So before I start answering any of these things, what I want to do is I want to find out what A is and I want to find out what D is, just like what I did with the previous example. Okay, so example 2. Okay, so what have they told us here? They've told us that the second term is 9. Just want to write down the formula. They told us that the second term is 9 and the 8th term is 33. And the 8th term is 33. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to plug 2 into there. So that means that n is 2 and we get A plus 2 minus 1 times D equals 9 from here. And then I'm going to plug 8 into there, so that means that n becomes an 8, and we get A plus 8 minus 1 times D equals 33. Simplify both of these, and we get A, that's just going to give us D equals 9, A plus 7D equals 33. If I get this A on its own, I get A is equal to 9 minus D. And I can call this equation 1, call this one equation 2. I sub 1 into 2. So in equation 2, wherever I see an A, I'm going to replace it with 9 minus D. So 9 minus D plus 7D equals 33. Okay. So that and that will give us 6D equals, if I take the 9 to the other side, it becomes a minus, and we get 24. divide through by 6, and we get that D is equal to 4. Now what I need to do is I just need to find out what my A is. Okay, so I'm going to take this D and sub it into 1, and then we can find out what A is. So sub into 1, and we get that A is equal to 9 minus 4, so A is equal to 5. Now I have my first term and I know what my common difference is. I can start answering these questions over here. So question A, we need to find out the first 4 terms of the sequence. So we're starting at 5 and we're adding 4 each time. So we're going to get 9 as our second term, add another 4 to that and we get 13, add another 4 to that and we get 17. So there's our first 4 terms. Then question B, we want to find out what is the 10th term. So in order to do that, I'm just going to be using this formula here, plugging in 10. I know what my A is, N we know is 10, and D we also know from here. So Tn is equal to A plus N minus 1 times D. So T10 is equal to, our A is 5, plus 10 minus 1, and our D is 4. And we can punch that in the calculator. And we get the 10th term is 41. Okay. Right, next example. Okay, so when it comes to examples like this, I don't want you guys to freak out because it's in terms of a variable. The method is exactly the same, all right? So for example, 3, the first 3 terms of an arithmetic sequence. Now that's important that they've told us it's arithmetic, and you'll see in a second why. And here are our first 3 terms, p plus 4 minus 3p minus 1 and 2p plus 12. What we need to determine is the value of p. Now just remember, because it's an arithmetic, they told us that, we know that it has a constant difference or a common difference. Okay, and I showed you guys the other day how we work this out. It's t2 minus t1, which will be exactly the same as t3 minus t2, which will be exactly the same as t4 minus t3, and so on. And I'm going to use that fact to find out what p is. Okay, so example 3. Our first term is p plus 4. Second term is minus 3p minus 1. And our third term is 2p plus 12. Now, just remember that this is term 1, this is term 2, and this is term 3. Okay? So, I know that t2 minus t1 will be exactly the same as t3 minus t2 because of that common difference. So what is our t2? It is minus 3p minus 1 minus t1 is p plus 4 equals t3 is 2p plus 12 minus 3p minus 1. Okay, and as you can see, we've just got a nice little linear equation here. I'm just going to get rid of the brackets, take p's to the one side, numbers to the other side. So minus 3p minus 1 minus p minus 4 equals 2p plus 12 plus 3p plus 1. Okay, so I'm going to take all the p's to this side here. So we get minus 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. And we get minus 9p. I'm going to take the numbers to this side, so we get 12 plus 1 plus 1 plus 4. And we get 18. Divide through by minus 9, and we get p is equal to minus 2. Okay. So the value of p we've got. Then the first 3 terms of the sequence. Well, now that I know what P is, I can just substitute it in here and find out what my 3 terms are. So if I put minus 2 in here, minus 2 plus 4 is 2. Minus 2 in here, we get minus 3 times minus 2, minus 1, and we get 5. Put minus 2 in there, so 2 minus 2 plus 12, and we get 8. There's our first 3 terms of the sequence. Then the value of the 20th term. Okay. So Tn is equal to A plus n minus 1 times D. Now, in order to use this, I need to know what A is, D is, and N is, and D is. Okay. A we know is 2. N we know they ask for the 20th, so N is 20. The only thing we don't know is what D is, but we can work it out from over here. So you guys can see that to get from there to there, we plus 3. So our common difference is 3. So T20 is equal to, our A is 2, plus 20 minus 1, and our D is 3. We can just plug that in the calculator, and we get our 20th term is 59. Okay, right. Grade 12, so I would like you to do exercise 1.3, numbers 4 to 9. Thank you.